Welcome back to the channel. Thanks to everybody that's watching and follow along on our 1989 XJS. We are getting close to wrapping this up for now. I mean, we've got the trim pieces being finalized, and I just wrapped up back here in the trunk. I've got to go back and look at a couple of things on the wiring schematics because I found a little relay that was just kind of hanging down in here, Siemens. Looks like it goes to the speed control, but this main harness back up there. And then I found this little pigtail that almost looks like you'd find an ABS plug or something. So I don't know what that goes to. Looks very similar to something on the braking system. So I need to find that, what that goes to. So got this all ready to go. Got the carpet over there being glued down. We'll put that back in. We'll get our spare tire. I was able to find on eBay, believe it or not, some fresh takeoff lattice rims, same size and everything, Jaguar OEM. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger on those, bought 4 of them. They're coming out of Pennsylvania. It might be here at the end of the month or so, but I'm going to go ahead and replace these Dayton wire wheels. I personally don't care for them. They just give it a little bit more of an antique-y look. I think that would those would go well on a different Jaguar, an old E-Type or something like that. But I want to get this back to stock original, and I want to get those lattice wheels on there, maybe some raised white lettering, BF Goodrich, and get this back into looking like a sport tourer again. I also was able to find the unobtainium front wheel well washer reservoir cover, that little plastic piece that goes right there. I found that and I immediately bought it. I mean, you can't find them. And if you can, they're in bad condition. All the rivet holes are broken or torn. This one's in good condition. It's on the way, so we'll get that back. And I found a exquisitely shaped front spoiler because remember, this spoiler is cut. I've got that piece there and the same size on the other side. And so I found a new spoiler. We're going to put that on, and that'll help the cooling, from what I understand, help divert the air up into the engine and the radiator and stuff like that. So when we left off, we were finalizing our headliner. So I do still have some stuff I got to put in there. I got to put in the motor mouse little seatbelt channels, and I've got to get the A-pillar, what they call the cap rail, back in. And my understanding, once you take those off, they don't clip on anymore, and you got to use some adhesive. So we'll get that. That's what's left over from the headliner that foam back headliner that I used, that suede stuff. Step in here with me. I've got the car all back, got all the seats back in. I used some saddle soap on them, got all the dirt out of the crevices, and then I conditioned them and let them set, and then I conditioned them again. And that leather is so supple and so clean. And when I was using that saddle soap, you would not believe the amount of crud that came off on that terra cloth towel. So I used about 4 of them. Got our third brake light back up in there. Just used the standard old OEM aftermarket 3M tape. But look at our headliner, folks. I did the what they're called the wings over there. I got it all back in. I've got to get the map light back in, the sun visors, and the rearview mirror. And then, of course, slap in the steering wheel back in. I used my little green machine, steam cleaner, carpet cleaner, upholstery cleaner. Got that stain, whatever that was, hot chocolate, coffee, whatever. Got everything back up in here. Everything's lined up all nice and neat. And wow, I mean, I am really impressed with the work I did on that sun visor. It's the first time I've ever done it, and I used that epoxy and fiberglass, and 25 years later, look at what it turned out. So just take your time. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, little cream puff car here. Off the street, out of some guy's driveway for $1,500, got it home. Wheels, gas, fuel tank clean, fuel injector hoses, some wiring, light bulbs, stuff like that. I don't know what we're in this. We're, under $4,000. And this isn't really a full-on restoration. It's just to get it back to where it was, stock and back to where it should have been. And look at that. I don't know if I mentioned, but I was able to find the light bulb lens covers for our number plate back here, our license plate. Boom shakalaka. So what is left to do on the car? Well, get that pile of parts over there, the little console cover, under dash thing. Got to figure out how to rig up a horn button for our new 15-inch steering wheel so my fat ass can fit in the car. We've got to get new tires, and once the rims show up, and I've got to get weather stripping seals for the outside of the driver and passenger window, this piece right here. And I think that just slides in there. We'll figure that out later on. And then we've got to get these little Mickey Mouse dents out. I think my little PDR kit will probably get them out. That's about what we did on our Cadillac. These little, it's you can hardly, you got to really get the reflection to see it. But like that, should be able to pop that out of there. This one might be a little bit more involved. That's a good ding there. But that's the only couple of dings there. And then these up here will pop right out, I believe. The worst part was, as far as dings, is that one there. And then we've got some like somebody used a plastic hammer or something under this door handle over there. So that might be fun trying to get that out. And then, but as far as scratches and stuff, this paint is really good shape. I don't think we're going to have to buff it out. I think just a real good wash. And we'll probably get some of that 20H ceramic coating and throw on here. And then, condition all the rubber and the vinyl and parts all around the car. And definitely get that spoiler on there and get our wheel well cover over there and call it good. So, hey, last few little parts to get back on the interior, and then we will fire up. We'll get the engine timed. We'll check that. And then I'll jump back in the engine because I do want to go ahead and service the distributor fully and go ahead and remove it and grease it and lube it and check all the springs and the weights and stuff like that. And then the last thing I'm going to do on this car is I'm going to wire up a new injector harness. Either do that myself or we'll just buy one that's pre-made. I've been watching folks that are out there that have done it, and it seems like it's pretty reasonable to do. Definitely with some better wiring and fabric tape that was stock. But look at that headliner, huh? That color, it matches everything. And you know what? It's funny. They didn't make these in any other color for the motor mouth seat belts. I have looked everywhere, and everything I've read, they're all this almond color. But you know what? It doesn't look bad compared to the gray. And it kind of gives a little trim look. So once we get those back in, I'll give you guys a final shot of that. And then the very last thing I'll do on this car is where I started, with the window switch bezel. That'll be the last thing I buy because everywhere I've looked, that thing is like $50 or it comes out of England and who knows. But what a little cream puff car, huh? She's turned out really, really nice. And, I may go back over there and ask that gentleman that I bought it from, because it's been in his family, if they might be interested back in getting this car back, because, the guy inherited it and left it to his son. His son didn't want it. And I just happened to be walking the dogs and I saw it and I was like, well, I don't like the wheels, but I like everything else about it. And I remember they didn't make that many of these, considering what they make today. And a lot of people are getting into restoring these old things, and some of them I've seen are just in horrendous shape. Worst thing about this, it's got what, 100 and something thousand miles on it. And I think it's never been overhauled or, just basically maintained its whole life. So, hey folks, if you like what I do, if you like the car, if you're impressed, if you'd like to find out any of the materials I've used, go back and watch the previous videos, or you can shoot me a comment down below. Consider giving me a thumbs up if you like it. And hey, also consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate everybody watching and following along. We're getting close to the final finish line here, folks. We'll see how this thing turns out. All right, take care and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.